Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really profound, honestly pretty tough truth. Relationships are not easy. Right around our 20s, this sudden kind of intimidating realization hits us out of nowhere. We look around and realize that absolutely everything, every rock, every bird, and every single person is completely separate and distinct from us.
And then the heavy truth sets in. You are alone in the world. Now, initially, that brings this massive rush of fear and isolation. It's scary. But the good news is, slowly, that feeling calms down, and eventually, it completely dissipates.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is we aren't talking about the psychological trauma you'd see in a horror film or some tragic novel. Actually, scratch that. It's the exact opposite. It's a liberating power. Your power literally lies within you, accessed through your five senses to construct your very own reality, even when life gets incredibly unpredictable. But here's the catch. Because we each construct our own separate realities, forming relationships means colliding with someone else's. Socrates hit the nail on the head when he famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Accepting that we have to constantly examine our choices and our free will in relationships is tedious, sure, but it is absolutely crucial. When we avoid doing that hard work, we just make excuses. You hear it from downtrodden people all the time. I lost all my money, or I lost my wife, or I just had a run of bad luck. But complaining doesn't change reality. Your world is quite literally how you choose to see it, and you are the only one with the power to change that view. So to navigate this intense self-examination, we desperately need a mentor. But I don't mean a traditional teacher. Honestly, the self is your only real teacher. What we need is a locksmith, someone who hands you the key to unlock the potential that only you possess. It's kind of like the iconic, if a bit complex, dynamic between Elvis Presley and his manager, Colonel Tom Parker. For the author of our source material, this locksmith was his notoriously stern grandfather, and the memory is just so sensory and specific. Imagine stepping into his elegantly furnished home, catching the distinct scent of sandalwood, and seeing Star Trek playing quietly on the television. Right there in that living room, his grandfather taught a stark contrast. The lesson was this. Rather than letting life determine what it wants from you, you have to dictate what you want from life. That single realization imbued the author with elegance, excellence, and a really deep humility. But let's be real, taking that control is exhausting daily work. That's exactly why Ralph Waldo Emerson's words are so vital. He said, "Finish each day and be done with it. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can." What a powerful reminder to just give yourself the grace to let go of today's old nonsense. Doing this daily reset helps us pursue the imperfect ideal of inner freedom. Struggling with relationships ultimately teaches us patience. Think about it. Next time an erratic driver cuts you off, remember they probably just haven't found their own inner freedom yet. We have to modestly suggest this ideal to ourselves and gracefully extend it to others. Which actually brings us to a rather bizarre puzzle. Have you ever wondered why your tooth suddenly stops hurting the exact minute you arrive at a hastily arranged dental appointment? And why are you so embarrassed by it? It perfectly captures the wild, overriding power of our own inner perception over the physical world. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to consider this thought on your next walk. Though I am blinded by the glare of life, I must find a way to focus my vision. If you are the sole architect of your reality, what parts of your hardest relationships are you subconsciously building? It's a heavy question for sure, but remember, the key to your potential is already right there in your pocket. Make sure to look for something magical today.